How are you? You're welcome back to my channel. My name is Pikaba Joan. I work with the leading referral pharmacy in Uganda called Vine Pharmaceuticals. In Vine Pharmaceuticals, we are the leading referral pharmacy, giving value with values. If you would want to get a product and get the right knowledge about that product, or get the right knowledge about your condition, visit any Vine Pharmacy outlet near you. You'll be able to be served. We have outlets in and out of Kampala. We have Shua House, Dewington Road, Batia House, Kiseka Market. There are very many. Bukoto, Ntinda, Kabalagala, Bunga, Freedom City, Makindye. Very, very many branches that are catered to your needs. Yeah, so today we're continuing with our series on the various sexual dysfunctions and the products that we give for the various sexual dysfunctions. So today we have an amazing product called Force Factor Score XXL. The product is called Force Factor Score XXL. So just stay tuned. This is a product that has over 25 ingredients that are geared towards a man's sexual health. There are 30 pills in it. You take one pill a day, or you can take 3 pills prior to an hour to 30 minutes before sexual intercourse. It attacks sexual dysfunctions from very many angles. It helps with an erection. It helps with the primary sex hormone, which is testosterone hormone. When we say primary, we mean it's the foundation. Without it, you'll have very many dysfunctions. It helps with energy levels. Did I say premature ejaculation as well? And ability to go for more rounds, stamina, focus, energy. This is the right product for you. It's called Force Factor XXL and can only be found at Vine Pharmaceuticals. Yeah, so with Phosphorus XXL, it has, like I said, it has a variety of ingredients. We have calcium, we have phosphorus, we have zinc, we have L-citrulline, we have green coffee, we have green tea extract, we have turmeric extract, we have tart cherry powder, blueberry powder, broccoli, curly, giant knotweed, honey goatweed. Honey goatweed, 2 species of honey goatweed actually. We have Epimedium sagittatum and Epimedium grandiforum. We have black Maca, we have Tribulus, we have Ginkgo, Cordyceps, DIM, L-theanine, coffee, theobromine, cayenne pepper, long pepper. I can go on and on, but this is one of the very best products that we have. You should get it for yourself if you know if you're suffering from any of these dysfunctions, or if you know someone who's suffering, or you can get it for your class. This is one of the very best products that we have, not only on the product profile, basically because of the product profile, and because it attacks the sexual dysfunctions from all possible angles. Yes. So let's dive into the details, what they do, what each of the component does, and how it's helping with the sexual dysfunctions. If you haven't yet subscribed, you can subscribe to this channel. We're diving in right into the ingredients. So we shall start with the calcium, phosphorus, and zinc. With calcium, phosphorus, and zinc, they help to boost up testosterone production, testosterone hormone. Remember, testosterone is the primary male sex hormone. When they say something is primary, it's like the foundation. Without it, other sex hormones can't be in place. So you find that someone who has low testosterone hormone or has issues with their levels of testosterone will first of all have low libido. I like calling testosterone the appetite hormone because that's the best correlation with testosterone, but just know it's the baseline. Without testosterone, there are very many other things that can go wrong. Then you have we have other than testosterone, other than low libido, it leads to a weak erection, it leads to loss of strength. The reason men are stronger than women as women is that men have more testosterone. Energy, endurance, muscle growth, all those are testosterone related. So you find that it's the baseline, it's the foundation. Without testosterone, a man's sexual ability is really influenced, like it goes down. So we have calcium, phosphorus, and zinc that are helping boost our testosterone hormone levels. Then the next thing is green tea. No, actually, let me start with green coffee instead of going to green tea first. So when it starts with green coffee, so green coffee is this coffee that's harvested before it is really dried. The first thing about green coffee is that green coffee increases testosterone levels. Did you know that? Oh, it's a shock. So coffee increases testosterone levels, and research shows that men who drink at least 2 to 3 cups of coffee have lower odds of developing erectile dysfunction. Guess what? If a man and you take 2 to 3 cups of coffee, you have a lower chance of getting erectile dysfunction. And then coffee contains caffeine. The active ingredient in coffee is actually caffeine. And this is what caffeine does. Caffeine actually relaxes the arteries. It actually relaxes the arteries and smooth muscles in the penis. It actually relaxes the arteries and smooth muscles in the penis. So yeah, coffee, can you imagine coffee actually relaxes the arteries and smooth muscles in the penis. When the arteries and smooth muscles in the penis are relaxed, you'll find that there will be flow of blood into the penis. Then caffeine is a stimulant, increases energy and alertness, so keeps you focused, lowers anxiety and elevates mood. How does it lower anxiety? It blocks receptors of a hormone called adenosine. When adenosine is blocked, then the stress response in the body won't be there. So what happens is that the anxiety response, what happens is that when you're anxious, you produce a hormone called cortisol. Now, when you produce cortisol, the disadvantage with cortisol is that it decreases. When cortisol is up, testosterone levels go down. So you find that green coffee is so important in that, on top of increasing testosterone levels, we've looked at that, it increases testosterone levels directly. It also relaxes the smooth muscles of the penis. That means blood will flow into the penis. Actually, people will be like, no, but I thought coffee wasn't good for people with high blood pressure. Coffee wasn't good for those things. Or yeah, it's not good for those people. It actually doesn't increase the blood pressure because it relaxes the muscles. The only thing is sometimes it causes a slight increase in the heart rate. But this is green coffee. It's much safer. So that's not something we should really worry about. It doesn't increase blood pressure. It just, when you take coffee, sometimes your heart rate goes up, especially if you haven't eaten or things like that. So sometimes coffee makes people feel funny because of the increase in heart rate, but this is green coffee. This is really good coffee, young coffee. Yeah, so then the next so we find that it will relax. Then another thing is that it lowers anxiety by blocking adenosine hormone, and therefore also in the long run cortisol will be there won't be cortisol release, so therefore testosterone levels won't be affected. So the next thing is actually green tea. The next ingredient we're looking at is green tea. Green tea, first of all, has caffeine, then it has another component called L-theanine. So remember, when you're looking at the ingredients, we saw that a force factor score XXL has green coffee, at the same time has coffee, but it's yeah, so you find that we've covered coffee and the green coffee. Now we're looking at green tea, and we see that it has caffeine itself, and then it has L-theanine, which is also one of the other ingredients. Now, L-theanine is so important, very important. L-theanine, first of all, increases the levels of it relaxes the mind minus what can I say? It relaxes the mind minus actually causing drowsiness. So with L-theanine, your mind is relaxed and also helps with dopamine release, mood stabilizing, but your mind is relaxed with no with no drowsiness. The other thing L-theanine does is that it counteracts the side effects of the caffeine. So you find that when you have L-theanine, the increased heart rate with caffeine really won't be there. And this has L-theanine in green tea at the same time as L-theanine as an ingredient itself phosphate. So that means that increased heart rate of the side effect of caffeine won't really be realized in this. So this is very good. So I said it increases dopamine. What does dopamine do? So dopamine is excitatory. It keeps you excited. That urge, that feeling. You need dopamine to be sexually aroused. Actually, you need the reason younger men are easily sexual aroused, have a lot of desire for sex is, yes, they have a lot of testosterone, but at the same time is that they have a lot of dopamine as well. The other thing green tea has is it has catechins. So catechins remove what we call bad cholesterol. I like using this analogy for bad cholesterol. Have you ever cooked a meal, or has madame ever prepared for you a meal, and then like they've put a lot of oil or something like that, like they fried the meat, and then they leave it there? Or you put, I remember when we were younger, then you put uh, um, a meat on a plastic plate, for example during Easter season, that's like Christmas, and you put meat on a plastic plate, and then that thing that remains, that oil, that yellow crust that forms. So that's I liken bad cholesterol to that. So imagine that forming in the blood vessels, and remember the blood vessels that supply the penis are usually so tiny. They're usually so tiny, so they can easily be blocked by that bad cholesterol. So imagine that crust that forms on top of a saucepan, and it's within the blood vessel. So it means it will compromise the flow of blood. And green tea will help to remove, it has catechins that will help to remove that bad cholesterol. And guess what? When the cholesterol is there in the blood, it also undergoes what we call oxidation. When it undergoes oxidation, it becomes harder and really forms that cake or crust, that yellow thing that usually forms on top of saucepans. But imagine it, like that's the best case scenario I can give to liken it for a better understanding. So then, yeah, so green tea will help with that. It also has caffeine, so it will boost testosterone levels. It helps with energy and focus. It will reduce anxiety. Then it will also relax the blood vessels, allowing for blood to flow into the penis and all those other things. So you find that green tea itself has caffeine. It has L-theanine. It has catechins that really help with an erection. So for me, the advantage of the supplements compared to these other maybe it's like they attack the sexual problems from all corners. So is the problem testosterone levels? Yeah, we got you. Is the problem to do with bad cholesterol? Yeah, we got you. Is the problem to do with a relaxation of the blood vessels? We got you. And all these other things, as we shall keep on going. So you find that the supplements really offer a better natural option. So the next component I'll look at is honey goat weed. Like you hear the word honey goat weed. Now, honey goat weed, we have it in two forms, in two species. We have the sagittatum and grandiforum. Most other supplements we're looking at had only honey goat weed as sagittatum or grandiforum, not a combination of both. So they combine the two species because I mean, the good thing about this Foursquare XXL can even be taken prior to sexual intercourse. Like I said, you take 3 pills prior to sexual intercourse, so it can be taken just as someone is going to have sex, but it can also be taken long term. The thing is, sagittatum, the supplements that have sagittatum, epimedium sagittatum, the honey goat with that sagittatum, should not. What can I say? How can I say, you do not take maybe things like Viagra, Penegra, Camagra at the same time, because they reduce the efficacy of the Camagra and Penegra. So you just don't take it at the same time because of that. But guess what? Here you do not need to take even the Viagra, even if you're taking it short term, because this is working for the short term as well as working for the long term. So it is really they've really put everything in it to make sure it works immediately and also help to take away the problems long term. So what does honey goatweed do? Enough about the species, whether it's grandiforum, whether it's sagittatum, whether it's what. So what does honey goatweed? The active ingredient of honey goatweed is ikarin. Now, icarin has very many uses. The first thing is that it's a phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 inhibitor. So we can ask ourselves, why are we talking about phosphodiesterase enzyme 5? When we go back to the erection cycle, we saw that when a man thinks about sex, sees a woman he likes, maybe he's touched, a perfume of someone he likes, sees a thigh of someone he likes, his madam, and then what happens is that the parasympathetic nervous system is stimulated, and then the pelvic nerve will send impulses to the blood vessels within the penis. Now, inside the pelvic nerve is a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. So the first thing, let me continue the process, then I'll come back to the acetylcholine because it's very important, even as we talk about horny goatweed. So the acetylcholine will help in the synthesis of an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase. This nitric oxide synthase converts L-arginine, an amino acid that's within the endothelial lining of the blood vessels, into nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is also a neurotransmitter. Then this nitric oxide will move from the endothelial lining and go into the smooth muscles, still of the same blood vessels, smooth muscles of the penis, of the blood vessels in the penis. Now, inside the smooth muscles, the nitric oxide will cause the release of an enzyme called guanylate cyclase. Now, guanylate cyclase, how can I call it? Guanylate cyclase will God help me. Guanylate cyclase will convert something called guanine triphosphate into CGMP, and CGMP will cause relaxation of the blood vessel and allow and the smooth muscles, allowing for blood to flow into the penis. As the smooth muscles are relaxing and enlarging, they enlarge and then they block the outflow of blood from the penis. Therefore, an erection is sustained. But then there is another guy, phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 inhibitor, that is always there lurking within the smooth muscles. Now, phosphodiesterase enzyme 5, that enzyme is actually really not so bad. It's always there. Why? For a purpose. Otherwise, a man would be erect all the time because at any one time, blood is flowing through the penis. So what happens is the function of phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 is to diminish the levels of CGMP so that a man does not go around saluting everyone, does not go around being erect all the time. But the only problem is that this phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 even remains when it's time for intercourse. I like saying it's like that unwanted visitor. People want to get down and that visitor doesn't want to leave. So phosphodiesterase enzyme, on a normal day you want your visitor, on a normal day you want the visitor around, but maybe that's your day to be with your spouse. Maybe that's your day, you say, today is the day. Maybe the kids are at school and stuff like that. Today is the day, it must go down. And then guess what? Phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 remains. So I like likening it to an unwanted visitor. So what honey goatweed does, it will block up that phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 and be like, gundi gwevawano, like you leave this place. Anyway, so what honey goatweed does is that it inhibits that enzyme, so that enzyme does not reduce the levels of CGMP, so that we are able to have an adequate erection. So that enlargement, relaxation of the smooth muscles occurs, and then we have blood flowing into the penis. Now, that's the function, and that's how Viagra works. That's how Camagra works. That's how all these things. But you realize that Camagra, Viagra, Penegra only work that way. They don't work any other way. Now, the good thing about these supplements is that we've covered bases. Remember, we have something that's preventing accumulation of bad fat, that blocks the flow of blood. We have things that help with testosterone hormone. We have very many things that help us relax. But also now we have this honey goatweed that acts like Viagra, but in a natural way. It's a PDE5 inhibitor. The other thing that honey goatweed does is that, remember I talked about acetylcholine being released. Now, there is an enzyme that also prevents the release of acetylcholine called acetylcholinesterase enzyme. So what happens is And this honey goatweed will also inhibit the cholinesterase enzyme and therefore allowing for the erection cycle to take place. Isn't that amazing? Then the other thing, honey goatweed is an aphrodisiac. It puts someone that euphoric mood, that mood. You're relaxed, you're stress free, you're able to have intercourse, and then you're excited about intercourse. It's also what we call an aphrodisiac. Examples of aphrodisiacs like chocolate, uh, wine for those who take wine, like that you're not tipsy, but you're in the mood. Okay, so yeah, then we go to another component. So I think we've exhausted when you go to it. When you look at most of the components we've looked at, the supplements we've looked at so far in our series, we've gone on talking about when you go to it. I keep repeating it because different products for different people. Okay, then we go to the next ingredient is L-citrulline. L-citrulline. Yeah, the other component is L-citrulline. So L-citrulline. So remember, still we are still on our erection cycle. Then so L-arginine under nitric oxide synthesis to form nitric oxide, and the other product that's formed is L-citrulline. But then L-citrulline goes back and gets converted into L-arginine, and then again to nitric oxide. So you find that there are very many causes of a weak erection. We've looked at cholesterol being one of the causes, low testosterone levels being one of the causes, and then the PDE5, presence of phosphodiesterase enzyme 5, but also low levels of the amino acid L-arginine can also lead to erectile dysfunction, because it's almost at the very beginning of the process. So what happens that L-citrulline gets again converted into L-arginine, and then the whole process flows again. So it will help with an erection. So when you look at this scoreXXL, you find that the products, they are multifunctional. So the next component we are looking at is we're looking at turmeric curcumin. Turmeric curcumin. I don't know how you pronounce it, but turmeric, that spice that people usually put in food. Some people sell it as a medicinal herb, but it's an ingredient. So I think at the not I think that the efficacy of Foursquare XXL comes from the fact that it has all these ingredients together. So it's not like you go for turmeric, because when you take turmeric naturally, most of it is actually excreted. It's not absorbed properly in the stomach. So this, they've got the active ingredient for better absorption and really put in it. So turmeric has for long been used in ancient Indian culture as an aphrodisiac. So for Asian culture, Indian culture, they have for long known turmeric as an aphrodisiac. Yes. So what does turmeric do? So turmeric activates generation of nitric oxide. It activates generation of nitric oxide. Then the other thing is the active ingredient, which is curcumin, significantly improves levels of testosterone, significantly improves levels of testosterone hormone. And remember, testosterone hormone is our baseline hormone. So you find with testosterone, libido is increased. You're able to go for more rounds. You're able you're able to have a good erection and a strong, enduring erection. Let me first pause here and then give us a reminder of what would actually cause low levels of testosterone. The first thing is presence of fat. When a man is fat, most of his testosterone is converted into estrogen, which is a female sex hormone, and really the man doesn't need the female sex hormone. And then another thing is age. The older a man is, the more he has what we call the more, how can I term it? The older a man is, the less testosterone he has. You find that by the time a guy is 45, 50 years, 60, his testosterone is half what it was the ages of 25 to 30. So you find that the old guys who are older really have lower testosterone levels, because their testosterone production reduces, but also because estrogen now increases. The other thing is stress. Corporate high pressure environments, people have deadlines to beat. They're really stressed. When they are stressed, there's an increase of a hormone called cortisol, and when cortisol is up, testosterone goes down, and all these. There are very many other things. Prolactin hormone. There's some men have high prolactin hormone levels that will also lead to a reduction in testosterone hormone. And then some people have hypogonadism. Some people take these body lifting supplements that have anabolic steroids in them, which really lower testosterone levels. And all these other things, there are very many things that really affect testosterone levels. I just wanted to bring that in before we continue. So then now the next product we're looking at tart cherry powder. So tart cherry powder inhibits inflammation. When oxidation takes place, usually there is inflammation within the blood vessels. So tart cherry powder reduces inflammation in the blood vessels. Then also it improves testosterone levels because it's a source of zinc, a very good source of zinc, and therefore will help with an erection in that way. The next component we're looking at black maca. We've looked at maca almost in We've looked at maca in almost every product that we've been talking about. Maca is an adaptogen. So an adaptogen just makes the body get used to the environmental stressors around it. It just brings back the balance to the body. Maca has a variety of uses. So when we talk about testosterone, what I forgot to say, testosterone also helps with sperm production as well. So you find that people with low testosterone will also have low sperm production and things. So maca will improve testosterone levels and also help with sperm production. Maca helps with increasing luteinizing hormone levels, and it's what happens with the production of testosterone is that the pituitary gland produces luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone stimulates the Leydig cells of the testes to produce testosterone. So without luteinizing hormone, testosterone levels would be low. So maca helps with that. Maca is an aphrodisiac. Maca reduces stress levels. So you find that it works in those ways. Then the other thing is blueberries. So blueberries, oh my god, I call them blueberries. Blueberries. So blueberries remove excess cholesterol from the blood. So I just love this phosphorus scoreXXL. Wow. It's dealing with cholesterol, it's dealing with testosterone, it's dealing with stress, it's dealing with anxiety, it's dealing with all those things to make sure that a man has like a very good sex life. So then we look at blueberries. They remove excess cholesterol from the blood. They relax blood vessels. And guess what? They increase dopamine. So they increase the excitement, the urge, the desire, the urge for sex. So that man, you're not like, it's not like a core you do, but it's something that you enjoy in your marriage. So the other thing is broccoli. Wow, the L's and the L's and the R's are really doing a number on me, but regardless, we move. So broccoli. So like I said, men's testosterone levels start dropping around ages 45-50. That's when you recognize the drop. But at 30, they begin dropping, but you recognize the drop. At around 45-50, that's when we'll be like, nga the desire is not there. Nga even the ways to go, even the rounds are few and stuff like that. Even the erection is not as strong. Usually recognize it between 45 and above, but it started dropping at 30. So some people realize it earlier. Yeah. So what happens is that most men's testosterone levels show a significant drop around 45-50 years, and their estrogen levels actually start to go up. So when testosterone is dropping, their estrogen is going up. So guess what broccoli does? Broccoli contains a good amount of a compound called indole 3-carbinol. Indole 3-carbinol. That it has been shown to help break down the estrogen and also flush it out. So broccoli breaks down the estrogen and actually flushes it out. So you find that broccoli will help like the older guys. So you find that your score factor XXL is also good for someone who is around 45 years of age, because They're breaking down the estrogen and also flushing it out. The next component is tribulus. So tribulus reduces blood cholesterol. Wow. Cholesterol. Like if you have someone who is struggling with cholesterol as the cause of erectile issues, just here is your product, Score Factor, scoreXXL. So it Tribulus has very many functions. Number one, it reduces blood cholesterol and therefore it decreases blood pressure. Number two, it aids in release of nitric oxide from the endothelial lining of the blood vessels. That process, sorry, that process again. Number three, it inhibits inflammation. Number four, it elevates levels of luteinizing hormone. Again, I talked about luteinizing hormone, uh, Leydig cells, production of testosterone. Then also it increases the amount of free testosterone. Wow. So reduces blood cholesterol. It reduces blood cholesterol, aids in release of nitric oxide, inhibits inflammation, elevates luteinizing hormone, increases the release of free testosterone. So then we go Ginkgo. The other component is Ginkgo. Ginkgo. So Ginkgo, studies show that there is what we call SSRI-induced erectile dysfunction, and here is where Ginkgo comes in. Yeah, it comes in when we're dealing with SSRI-induced erectile dysfunction. Um, so you SSRIs are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, for example, fluoxetine. So, for example, fluoxetine, paroxetine, duloxetine. Uh, uh, so the thing with them is that these SSRIs really help with premature ejaculation, but the problem is they again cause erectile dysfunction and low libido, because they affect libido, they affect dopamine. So imagine you're treating premature ejaculation, and guess what? You now end up having low libido because they affect dopamine levels and also a weak erection. So Ginkgo comes in to help with SSRI induced premature erectile dysfunction. Another thing is that it boosts levels of nitric oxide. It boosts levels of nitric oxide. I've talked a lot about nitric oxide back and forth. And then Ginkgo helps to overcome anxiety disorders as well. Very helpful with anxiety disorders and anxiety induced premature ejaculation. Very, very, very perfect for anxiety induced premature ejaculation. The next component is cordyceps. Cordyceps. So cordyceps increase energy and vitality minus increasing the blood pressure. Most things that increase your energy levels actually increase your blood pressure. So cordyceps increase energy and vitality minus increasing your blood pressure. Cordyceps also suppress muscle contractions in the penis. They also suppress muscle contractions in the penis and increase the sperm count. So let me repeat again. Cordyceps work in various ways. They increase energy and vitality minus increasing the blood pressure. They also suppress muscle contraction in the penis and then increase sperm count and sexual performance. Yeah. The other product is DIM. The other ingredient is DIM. As in, you must wonder why I'm excited, because these products work. By the way, visit any Vine pharmaceutical outlet. You will not, you'll be like, wow, you will not regret it. So we have a DIM. DIM has been shown to inhibit the enzyme aromatase. Now, aromatase enzyme, as in, I think that's the reason I'm excited about DIM. So what happens is that within the fat cells there is an enzyme called aromatase. Now the problem with aromatase is that it converts testosterone to estrogen. That's why you find that when a man is bigger, he starts developing boobs. It's actually not fat, it's the enzyme aromatase. Okay, it's fat, but it's enzyme aromatase. So he starts developing boobs. His sexual organs start becoming smaller because of the increase in size. Now it's because of this enzyme called aromatase. It is abundant in the fat cells. So so this enzyme aromatase uh, will convert testosterone to estrogen, and DIM comes in like that. It will inhibit that enzyme aromatase. Wow, is there a product like scoreXXL? It's like one of the best products. Then we've already looked at L-theanine before. Then but what I didn't talk about L-theanine early is that L-theanine also helps keep anxiety induced premature ejaculation at bay. So we're looking at erection, libido, mania, estrogen bitchy problems, and then premature ejaculation at the same time, just with one product that has all these ingredients. So then we look at theobromine. Who loves chocolate like me? I do. So theobromine is usually found in dark chocolate, and dark chocolate stimulates the nervous system. So it makes you feel excitable, uplifted, have a good mood. It's basically an aphrodisiac. Yeah, it's basically an aphrodisiac. So this enhances your lovey-dovey feeling, and also increases dopamine levels. So that's why they call chocolate an aphrodisiac. It's because of the presence of theobromine. I looked at theobromine earlier when I was looking at Q7 as a product. You can look up that video as well. So theobromine is usually found in dark chocolate. It stimulates the nervous system, making you feel excitable, uplifted, lovey-dovey, feeling good, and stuff like that. So then we have cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is kamlari. Okay, in Luganda, sorry. So cayenne pepper has an active ingredient called capsaicin. So I don't know if I've said it right. So capsaicin in cayenne pepper helps to generate heat and improve blood flow to the penis. You know that hotness you feel in the mouth? Okay, no, you won't feel it, but then it generates heat and helps to improve blood flow to the penis. It can also help improve testosterone levels and increases volume of semen. So capsaicin helps to generate heat, improve blood flow to the penis, helps to improve testosterone levels, and then the volume of semen. It also semen. Wow. So it also increases energy levels and stamina. So you find factor XXL helps with energy levels, removing cholesterol, premature ejaculation. It's an aphrodisiac, putting you in the mood for sex, sperm count, semen volume, helps with erection. Mainly, you see that almost everything is helping towards someone getting an erection, really. Prevents inflammation and dopamine and all these other things. Like, wow, it's a very good product. That's why it's very good. You can take 3 pills prior to sexual intercourse. Then the last but not least is long pepper. So long pepper controls the glucose levels. If you're diabetic, this is a very good product. Controls the glucose levels in the blood. It acts as an aphrodisiac, so it calms you down, relaxes you, puts you in the mood for sex, and then stimulates libido. Wow. So for me, when I look at all the ingredients, right from calcium, phosphorus, zinc, L-citrulline, honey goatweed, black maca, giant notewood, curly, broccoli, long pepper, cayenne pepper, L-theanine, green tea, green coffee, Tribulus, DIM, Cordyceps. All these products are working in concert for you or your client, or someone you know, to have a good sexual experience and a good sex life with their spouse. For more information, visit any Vine pharmaceutical outlet. Whoever you find will be able to give you more knowledge about this, assess you, and see if this is the right product for you. You can visit. There are many outlets in and out of Kampala, and in and around Kampala really. And then also Yeah, I've written a book called Let Thy Food Be Thy Medicine. It talks about the role of supplements in preventive and curative healthcare. So be blessed. Bye bye. Happy Easter again.